Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 4 versus 4 on Pointe du Hoc, and boy was this an absolutely fantastic game for showing off this division. It was really fun to play, and hopefully you're looking forward to watching myself play the division properly. I've only played it against very hard AI on the channel, and I did show you guys a gameplay of Val and Betts playing the SSB in like conjunction with each other, using the 2 off-map strikes at the same time, which was really cool. I don't actually play with the off-map strike in my division, so you won't be seeing it in this game, but it was still really fun. So let's put it to my point of view. You can see that I have marked the right side of the map. I then have Adorno on my left with the 15th Infantry Scots. On the middle left we have Siladar, who is using the 6th Airborne. And then on the far left we have Sinter, who is going to be using the 3rd Armoured. We're playing against quite an interesting range of opposing decks: the 17th SS Panzer Grenadier, the 9th Panzer, 12th SS Panzer, and 716th Infantry. I'm going to be starting off with the pretty standard start, which is the Willys MMGs with the Commando Tank Busters. Then I've got basically a range of commando squads based on what I need. So for example, in this building I'm going to put like a commando support because I need the machine gun to mow down any infantry that comes out of like this tree line, for example, and that's like exactly 400 meters range from the house. The other one would be like here, for example, where I'm actually going to be using a Commando 6 squad because it's 500 meters to this road and these compounds, which means it can provide fire from this house, Commando 6 squad, with the sniper rifle onto these buildings, which are likely to be occupied first by the opponent. Yeah, from that location, whilst I also contest in these buildings. So just a lot of thought goes into using each kind of unit specifically, and there's like, I mean, multiple types. You've got the Commando Assaults, which are like your close range, close quarters, 100 meter range engagement, that kind of thing. You want to use those in forests and close up town fighting. Then you've got like your Commando Supports, which are your longer range for like 300-400 meter range engagement. Commando 6, which is the 500 meter range sniper squad. And then you have like the Fusilier Marines, which are the squads that you use in sort of close combat, but sort of 200 meter range. So depending on what sort of terrain you're playing with, you bring in each squad specifically for that location, and it should potentially work out. So that's kind of what I was working with the mentality of in this game. I'm also going to be bringing up a Sherman 2 Double D at the start of the game, and of course all of the Commando leader squads to go with my infantry to get the extra veterancy. So there's all that. Siladar's going to be playing off down the road with his 6th Airborne. We've got Adorno. He's spread out his forces ready to go. So let's just speed it up, get this show on the road, and we'll talk about the rest of the units that I add here. So I think I just added some recon. Got some scouts for the right side, and a Humber Mark III with some recon there for this left side, I believe. The reason these are both on the right is because these scouts can get to the far right here, get really good line of sight up the roads and across the orchards. And the Humber Mark III, these can unload the recce, and the recce can basically move up the tree line there and go to like this location and spot the IG for me and stuff. So you can see that I can spot the IG with the recce, and I'm actually just going to use the Sherman 2 to like engage that. Now, since I managed to get so far up in this town early on, you can see that I actually have used the Commando 6s to push up to this tree line and try and pin down the MG34. I've also managed to get the Commando Assaults quite far up. There's no point in having them engage anything because they're not in range. Commando Fusilier Marines, however, they can definitely use their Bren gun efficiently at longer range. Sherman 2 takes out the IG nicely, and that's basically why you want to bring a Sherman 2 early on, especially against like the 716th that I'm playing against here. The Sherman 2s just work so damn well. Pack 37, IG-18 combo, the Shermans will just clean up those units very, very nicely, because this Pack 37, for example, 9 AP, and at max range, not going to be penetrating into the Sherman 2. However, the Sherman 2 very easily can take out the Pack 37 at 1,000 meter range, because it's only got to hit a few times. The Commando 6 actually manages to snipe out the Kubel MG there. It's also engaging the Osttruppen. Got the Humber Mark III to move up and help support the Commando Fusilier Marines, so I'm moving those up as well. IG-18 gets moved into the tree line, but that's going to get pinned down and taken out. Willys MMGs here were moving up to try and take care of the Fusiliers. The Fusiliers dodge into the right side of the field, and the Pack 37 cleans up those Willys. I've actually brought up a Centaur as well now. You can see I've got it on a fast move position to the edge of the tree line, then an attack move order from there, so I can get rid of this Pack 37 nicely. Meanwhile, the Sherman 2 is continuing to support the infantry on this left side, and it's basically a mix of the Panzer Grenadiers from Sinful Tiger and the Osttruppen from Arch Noah. So Centaur there doing a little bit of damage to the Pack 37, not quite finishing them off. Elsewhere on the map, Adorn is actually doing a relatively good job here of holding the front line forwards. We've actually pushed way past our 50-50. The 50-50 is actually like here. Maybe a bit further back actually. Probably like, say here. So we are making a little bit of ground on our side, but ground's being pushed in where Siladar is, and he's losing control of this road. Also on the far left, Sinter's not having a very fun time against Rommel's son. Double Blitz going to get killed there for free, which is nice. Takes out an Osttruppen squad for me. Commando 6 though. God, those squads are good. Going to be pinning down the Osttruppen so damn easily. I've managed to even get my Commando Assault into this tree line, which is really good for me, because it allows me to move through and try and get towards this mortar here once it stops firing at that squad. Now unfortunately, just before I killed the Pack 37 there, the Pack 37 gets the kill onto the Sherman 2, which was really, really unlucky. Like the Commando 6 squad had pretty much pinned down that Pack 37, and the Pack 37 somehow managed to get that kill. I was really quite frustrated with that, but either way, the combination of the Commando 6 and the Humber Mark III is really doing the job there. Centaur here dealt with the pack over here and forced that back, and now I've just got it sneaking around the right side to kill any infantry that comes through that tree line. Commando Fusilier Marines are engaging the Fusiliers there. Got the Centaur on target again. That's actually firing all the way through to take out the Pack 37. Gotta love the range on those things sometime. Humber Mark III moving through. That's gonna go for the kill onto the 50mm mortar. I wanted to get rid of that as a matter of urgency really, because I don't want him to pin down my infantry squads with those mortars, and they can get really, really frustrating to play against. So I bring that up. I'm actually starting to engage this B2. I realise it's a B2. Get the hell out of there. I do bring up some scouts here to join the Commando 6 squad, and those scouts actually spot the enemy Aufklärer, which allows me to take them out with the Commando 6, which is good. Commando Fusilier Marines are taking on the Osttruppen quite nicely there, and I'm going to start to charge them down, as I will be pinning them very soon. But Ark Noah, not really going to let that happen, but there we go. Humber Mark III gets the shots on, and we pin him down. Good stuff. So making quite a lot of headway here, pushing all the way up to this gap. Meanwhile on this left side, Commando Assault takes out the 81mm mortar after creeping all the way through, and this Humber Mark III was just in such a good position to help pin these Panzergrens, the Grenführer, the Osttruppen, and support my infantry really, really well. So I'm now going to be moving over the Centaur again here because I want to take care of the Pak 37. And I've also got the Willys MMG driving on up. Now, since I wanted the Centaur to both cover the right side and this area, I decided to just buy in another one and let that do the job on the right side. But yeah, making a lot of ground over the halfway here, like this whole area here is like over the halfway, but unfortunately a +1 for the opponents at the moment, as Buer has come down the road with his 12th SS Panzer and is wrecking Siladar on that road. So Fusilier Marines moving through to try and take on the enemy Fusiliers there. I am being hit quite a lot by the IG-18 onto these commando assaults, which isn't ideal. So trying to get the Centaur into a position to fire at the IG-18. But we've got to deal with this somehow. And here comes Adorno with his Honey. So we've got Siladar bringing in some more infantry. But we are starting to support that on the left side.
Got it.
Commando Tank Busters, these guys are absolute heroes. They move through, they find a Panzerschreck squad, they kill off the Panzerschreck squad. They're making a sneaky maneuver to try and take out the Stug 3. Simple Tiger has not noticed this. Get the Piats on target, and boom. Job done. Stug 3 down. Commando Tank Buster paid itself off. Now I'm going to be trying to get the Commando Tank Busters to move across and take out the Griller as well. And you can see that I've got all of these Commando Tank Busters in nice positions behind these tree lines. So ideally what you want to do is always have these Commando Tank Busters behind the cover like this. This is more ideal because they're at 100 meter range, so they can actually engage infantry that comes into the tree line. But here's good as well, because as soon as they come down the road here, you can use the Commando Tank Busters to just kill the thing, and you won't be in line of sight of anything else. Now again, another thing happens here. Pak 37 gets a really lucky shot. Actually, I don't think that was the Pak 37 in this case. That was actually the 88. Manages to kill off the Centaur as I was killing off the Pak 37, so fair enough in that case. Commando Tank Busters are being pinned down by the Panzer Grenadiers in the open there, which wasn't ideal since my Hummer Mark III was unfortunately taken out by an AT gun moving into this tree line. But I do have the Fusilier Marines here with the scouts and so on. Also the Willys MMG moves up as well, and that's going to do a lot of damage to the Pak 37. I'm also trying to get this Commando Assault close enough to do some damage to the Panzergrens there as well. Commando 6 also coming back up. They're still very much alive. But here comes the push back up the road. So, the Boita Firefly, I'm not entirely sure what happened to it, but the team managed to deal with it. And now, I think it must have been with this 17 pounder, but now we have basically my Shermans coming up, Sherman 5s, alongside a Dingo. Dingo's there to basically give the command to the Shermans, as well as Royal Fusilier Marines. So, just those Royal Marines going to be there. Great infantry. They have the Piat, they have the decent close range engagement HE of like 11, I think, as well as the longer range engagement. But just taking out all of these units as they try and retreat. There's the dead Firefly. Looks like it was trying to retreat, got shot in the side or rear armor. Maybe got taken out by one of Adorno's 6-pounders on the right side here or something. But either way, infantry is very much arriving. Meanwhile, on the right side, I'm still very much containing the 101st player. Commando 6 is having a go at the Black 36 here, but took out both the Panzer Grenadiers and the Pak 37 in that engagement. Black 36 still being pinned down, still being hit very hard by the Commando 6 there. Commando Assaults are unfortunately going to die. B2 is doing a lot of damage. Commando Tank Busters trying to get the shots off onto the B2, and I managed to make it work. So, Royal Marines have dropped off. They're going to be engaging multiple Panzergrens as we push up. Adorno's also bringing up plenty of units to support Siladar here. So, the double Sherman push along with the Royal Marines, and we're breaking back through, trying to close this close this push into our lines. Meanwhile though, I am of course being pushed hard myself on this right side, and you can see that my infantry is starting to fall apart. I do lose the Commando 6 squad there. It does manage to take out the enemy AA, but still, as you can see, my units are getting very low on health. These Commando Fusilier Marines, 1 health. Commando supports, 3 health. I do drop off a couple of Commando assaults. These guys are just going to attack, move up the tree line to take on enemy infantry in that location. Commando Fusilier Marine, the last guy surrenders, unfortunately. But look at these Sherman 5s. Moving up, decimating the Panzergrenz as they try and retreat. Also with the help of Siladar's Cromwell 5 and Adorno's Honey, we've got plenty of machine guns to fire at any infantry we come across. And we've got the infantry ourselves to check all of the trees moving forwards. The Willys MG there taken out by the machine guns of the Grenadiers and Ostropen from Ark Noah. And I'm going to have to reinforce myself. So there's plenty more infantry coming up here. I've got a little bit of a push happening on this right side, Pack 37 with the IG-18 and so on. But I do have a Commando 6 sitting at ideal range just behind this tree line, so if anything comes into line of sight, we hit that nice and hard. Engagement still happening here. The Sherman 5s, Royal Marines, just still continuing to push up. Any units we find are being killed off nice and easy. These scouts, I'm keeping them on hold fire because I want to make sure that I know what's here. There's a Pack 40 and a Panzer 35 on the road, and I'm just going to unload, set up like a second line of defense in these buildings again. And generally that's what I decided to do, was remain defensive on my side whilst I helped my teammates push through back against the forces here. So that push coming in from the Axis has meant that they've managed to make 412 points with the +1 lead. That is still the case. But over on my side of things, I'm well over halfway still on this side. So they've got quite a lot of work to do. And they do manage to hit my Royal Marines here with a really nice rocket strike, which does a lot of damage to them. But Royal Marines are hard to kill. So they've still got a lot of work to do, and I'm bringing up a Sherman 5 to have a big enough threat to like stop them moving too far forwards into my infantry. Commando assaults quickly dispatch some Osttruppen there, but with the support of the 88, those Commando assaults need to get out of line of sight. I have a Centaur here that's waiting to have a go at the 88, but got to get the ideal situation, because currently we're only at like 800, 1000 meter range. Whereas ideally I want to be engaging an 88 at over 1,200 meter range. Fusiliers get dropped off. They're going to get hit very hard as they move into that tree line. And what they were trying to do here was quite really smart. Like Ark Noah was trying to get some recon into this tree line so that he could just like put them on hold fire, for example, and know what was on the other side. But I myself had some scouts here on return fire to basically stop that from happening, so I can spot their recon in this tree line. Like this scout squad can spot anything with like very high stealth in that tree line. The IG-18's moving in there. As soon as it comes through, it's going to get spotted and taken out, as you can see. So IG-18 pinned down by the Commando 6 and just going to do a lot of damage there. So one thing that happened here was Whitman came down the road, and it was really funny because, as you can see, like there was a massive like scramble to get off the road. Like Whitman just like drove on down. He was like, "Hey boys, I'm here for a party," and the Shermans and the Honey Stewart and the Cromwell, we just all booked it to the side of the road. We just ran off, and now we're hiding in these like hedgerows in the bocage. So my Sherman 5 again just sort of taking cover here. If the Tiger comes down the road, then we've got a decent chance of penetrating it from that range. Right, another strike coming in here, burning up more of my Royal Marines. It was really unfortunate. Also got some artillery coming in onto my Commando 6, so going to try and get those out the way. I don't really want to lose the Commando 6 squad for free. I have a 3-inch mortar coming up now to support my infantry on this left side. It's going to be pretty hard for them to like push through these buildings, so I'm pretty sort of content with holding my units in that position. The Commando assaults there going to make short work of an infantry squad. Enemy IG and 88 though take out another squad that was following up. Now over here, Sherman 5, that's going to be pushing round. There's some verbal winds on the other side of the tree line, carving up our infantry. They did wreck my Commando Royal Marines as they moved into the hedgerow, so they're going to have to get the Sherman to try and deal with that and making it fall back. That's the easy part. Well, that's the hard part. The easy part then just killing it off. There we go. Air landing here. I do manage to get into range to pin down the air landing there. But I'm going to be pinning down the panzer guns on the left side first. MU-109 comes in with its rockets. And there is a lot of units coming down this road. So the Fell Panzer IV, also the Panzer IV-H. And that's just going to destroy that honey that just got in completely the wrong position. Track's broken there. 17 pounder gets on target. Whitman is not in a good spot. Machine guns wrecking that Panzer Grenadier on the right side. Whitman goes down to the 17 pounder. Verbal is moving over to deal with some infantry, but puts itself in line of sight of my Sherman 5. And now the Sherman 5 is forced that to fall back. Verbal doesn't know what to do. And goodbye. So another Commando Royal Marine there gets taken out, gets spotted by the 233 in the hedgerow. I put an attack marker here so that Siladar is well aware of my intentions to just push on the ground and kill off the Panzer IV, but he goes even further and takes out another Panzer IV there with the Cromwell. And what an ambush that was. Really, really worked out well. Take out the Panzerwerfer as well. And now all that's left is the SPW 233 as we continue to dispatch the rest of the infantry here, and what threat was in our way is no longer, and that just allows us to continue to push even further. So I'm being continuously pressured on this right side as well. You can see the infantry engagements occurring throughout in these tree lines. I've got to be very careful that I don't allow the fire support from these 88s and whatever else to fire at my Royal Marines, because they do a lot of damage. There I managed to make the Fusiliers surrender, but ideally these Royal Marines wouldn't even be engaged in the first place by the 88. Over on the left side, Humber Mark III gets taken out by a Stug 4, but the Sherman 5 still providing a lot of presence here, not allowing the Stug 4 to push that far forwards. One rocket comes in, takes out my commando leader. Really, really lucky rocket there, managing to hit the leader unit amongst all of those units, and gets the kill. But we're now pushing the +1. Look at that. We've broken on through. Sherman 5 still making ground. Used up all of our 50 cal ammunition. But we're continuing the push. Like, the little ambush here was absolutely fantastic. Our opponent brought up the Panzer IVs, thought he was safe. Whitman goes down, leaves the Panzer IV vulnerable, and the Shermans do the job. And that's the beauty of the Sherman 5s in close combat, is that they really can do a lot of damage. Now 2 30 cals and the main gun on target going to be helping deal with the MG42 as well. So job done there, 53% territory lead. So all I got to do on this right side is just hold on. Commando 6 eventually go down to an artillery strike, unfortunately. But what I have here is 2 Centaurs coming up, and they're going to try and assist me in taking out this 88. If I can trade a Centaur for an 88, and I think that's probably worth it to get rid of that, and then I can continue to move up with my Royal Marines and poke more infantry out the way. But Osttroopen coming up with Commando 6 dead. There's not really much to actually kill off any infantry that comes into the tree lines. The Commando Tank Busters just being shot at for free at the moment. But these centaurs are on their way. Probably should have stopped them and just killed off the Osttroopen. On this right side, centaurs actually got line of sight onto the grenadiers, so we're going to see that help out there, and we take out those. And, well, one of my Shermans does end up going down over here as we go a little bit too far and bump into another Tiger, as well as two Pak-43s on the main road. So I've got my units into position behind the tree lines once again. I actually brought up a second dingo to accompany the other Sherman 5, but it died before it mattered. Alright, Centaur does get taken out by the Flak 88, but get my other Centaurs on target, and we're going for the kill there. Now this would just annoy everybody. Look at this. So because it gets forced to fall back, the Centaurs change target. So I manually change target back to the 88, and just as I get on target, he gets out of line of sight. And I'm not exactly one to like charge head on to a Flak 88 that's no longer going to be pinned down. I don't want to lose another Centaur. So that was just really frustrating at that point. Just going to fast move over to this right side, try and take care of this Flak 88 over here that I have pinned down by my 25 pounders. So moving into phase C, the SSB has 160 points per minute, which means that I can start to invest in all of this artillery. I have 4 25 pounders on my division, and that means that I have something else that I can deal with the Flak 88s with. So whilst I do have quite a lot of troops here, like a couple of assault pioneers just holding the tree lines, as well as like the Dingo and the Sherman 5 and stuff, you know, the majority of my forces now are just going to be focused on this right side, because I just want to make sure that I maintain my ground here. So the Centaurs starting to do a lot of damage to that 88 that's caught out in the open, really. Direct hit, going to be killing it off. Lovely jubbly. 25 pounders. I really microed these while in this game. Like, I bring up 2 more, and I had 4 25 pounders that I think I just microed it really well. Because at this point, what's happening is I'm actually like having a lot of trouble with infantry. Like I'm relying now on these assault pioneers, and they are pretty much all that I have left at this point on my division. So I'm in a pretty dire situation, and I'm just hoping that my opponent doesn't have too much of their own to keep throwing at me. Commando leader goes down there as well for free. I'm trying to run that forwards there just to get into the 100-meter range, but wasn't quite able to. Centaur opens fire with fire position just to finish off the Fusiliers. Also, it was firing there to try and take care of the Pak-43, but that was fallen back ages ago. Yeah, 2 assault pioneers here. They're coming up again, similar to what I did with the commando assaults, unloading them, pushing them up the tree lines to take care of like Osttroopen or whatever else is up against us.
Yes, sir.
So 25 pounders on target for the IG-18. I've got more 25 pounders over here. One stopped, one's moving further over to the right, and yeah, just getting ready to start the artillery barrage. Osttroopen go down there quickly to the Sherman 5. The great thing about playing against 716th is you don't have to worry about many of their infantry, if any of their infantry, carrying AT. So you can get away with killing off infantry like that, close range, with the Sherman 5s. The only ones you have to be worried about is the Fusiliers and the Italian infantry in the late game, but as you can see, I am starting to kill those off as well. So over here, Sherman 5, again, that's just going to sit there for the majority of the time. Pioneers are going to be opening up with their Lee Enfield, but not much point in them firing at that range. So I'm just going to fall them back. So the only time they get spotted is when they have an infantry unit get within 100-meter range, in which case the Pioneers can use their grenades.
Yes, sir.
There we see my Centaur. The last of the Centaurs gets bailed out and killed off by the Pak-43. The 1 health Pak-43, that is. That nearly got killed off by my 25 pounders in time, but not quite. So artillery firing away.
Waiting for fire coordinates.
Also got these two 25-pounders firing. But this push back that we did over here allowed Silidar to basically solidify his position here, so I could basically focus on the right side. Also, Adorno, I mean, two 3-star 17-pounders facing down this road. Nothing is coming down here anytime soon. And on the left side, well, Sinter has actually recovered quite nicely from his slow start. So in general, across the map now, we are well over halfway, and we have 56%. So ideally what we want to do is push for 58% and get the +2 rolling. So that's what we're aiming for here.
We're operational.
25-pounders still firing away. These ones are actually starting to get a bit low on ammunition. I am going to be bringing up the ducks. Also got another duck coming up to support these two 25-pounders. And the ducks have a lot of ammunition, so I'm not expecting to run out anytime soon. And I can just continue firing them against these tree lines for as long as I like. Could have brought in some more recon here, possibly to spot things coming into the tree lines. It wasn't too much of a concern. If I can keep things pinned down with the 25-pounders, they can't really go too far. And I'm pretty sure that my opponent's just as low on infantry at this point than I am. So yeah, they're not really bringing in any more infantry at this point. They're just relying on the last of their grenadiers, Osttruppen, and the Italian infantry there. And actually, it's quite interesting to see that there wasn't barely anything here. Adorno probably could have been a lot more aggressive by the looks of things. That's crazy, there's literally nothing. That's like 5 units. Like, this honey could just go up that road. Make so much ground, that's insane. It's funny when you watch back replays like this, and I guess I called it wargame syndrome, just naturally. Like, when people just aren't aggressive, like, there's no reason not to have these Bren groups just attack moving forwards. Because you would reveal enemy units and then you can take them out with your 6-pounder, your honey, your AVRE, for example. No, that's not to say that Adorno's playing badly. Like, he assisted me and Silidar in taking back this area, for example. So that's not bad at all. But just in general, like, it's a mistake that a lot of players make, and I think just, you know, for example, especially with these Bren group units, they only cost 10 points apiece. Just fast moving forward, you can make so much ground. And it's quite telling when there's like these shapes in the front line. That's something to also very much look out for. But my 25-pounder's still firing away. I'm actually focusing an 88 on this right side, as you can see. One of my Shermans does go down to Pack 43, manages to get line of sight through the gap there onto my Sherman as it was moving to the right side. I was actually trying to get that Sherman relatively close behind this tree line, but didn't manage to do so. Now this is the rain that's here trying to, I think, counter my 25-pounders, but I moved my 25-pounders quite nicely throughout this game. But without any more reinforcing infantry, there's not any sort of significant push that Noah can make at this point. Royal Marines are going to deal with Osttruppen quite easily still, and I also managed to take out the Panzer 35S there. Got a second Sherman 5 coming to join the one in the orchard to just provide enough presence there to stop the Stug 4 from pushing forwards safely, at least. And since I am relying a lot on these 25-pounders, you can see I am now investing in these Bofors to protect them. So Bofors moving to the tree lines ahead, and well, with that, my opponent surrenders. Again, I think he surrendered mainly because he was running out of infantry and just didn't have the units he needed to push on forwards. I mean, saying that, the AI is just bringing in a load of infantry now, so maybe he just got demoralized by the amount of artillery I started to use. So now I'm feeling a lot more confident. AI is a lot easier to play against, a lot more predictable than a player. So I'm safe on that right flank now.
Germans ahead.
Now I just have to keep an eye on what's happening on the left flank. You see my Sherman 5 was pushed back briefly, but still providing a presence here. Plenty of ammo left in the 30 cal. Pack 43 doesn't have line of sight onto the Sherman. Does manage to take out the Dingo though. Now, there wasn't really too much air engagements going on throughout the game, so haven't really been missing much there. And you can see Adorno finally starting to put a push on through the mid. Is making us a lot more ground.
Stay low.
So I do unfortunately lose my Bofors on this right side. Does get taken out. My 25 pounders very close to taking out the enemy 88s. And, well, the AI don't really fall back 88s very well. I don't think they really fall back units unless you're close to them. So when it comes to like artying stuff, they generally just sit there until it's dead.
Spotted us. I'm out. Over.
25 pounders though, you can see that I am just like,
That one bought it.
just going to continue to show you guys how I'm microing these. I've got 3 focusing the Pack 43 because it's a high priority target, and then I've got 1 just continue pin down the infantry and the Pack 37 that's moving forwards over there. Pack 40 gets killed off by the Commander of Royal Marines, as I have those sort of hiding in the orchard for anything that comes through the tree line there. And yeah, nice sort of salient occurring for Adorno. 57% territory lead. So really racking up the score now. Almost hitting 900, doubling the Axis points with 5 minutes left on the clock. Not really too much that the Axis can do at this point. I mean, I'm using so many points at this point, like 160 points per minute. Absolutely crazy in phase C. That's given me like 3,200 points to work with. That's a lot. I invested it mainly in these 25 pounders as well as a lot of the Sherman 5s, since I am pretty low on infantry, of course. I did bring in some reinforcing assault pioneers and stuff, but that's not really what I focused on moving into the later phases of the game. Again, some silly air engagements, not really too much going on. Mosquito is being brought in by Siladar. Going for the bombing strike there. Without Winchester evacuation, that would have killed off the Focke-Wulf 190. We've actually got a Tempest coming in onto the ME-109 though, and that's going to go down. But yeah, Sherman 5 hanging back. Assault Pioneers chilling. Adorno's pushing on through. And there is a unit trying to flank me briefly here. But Commando Tank Busters, they should do the job. So just charging the Commando Tank Busters towards the Grenadier, but the Sherman 5 going to beat me to it. We are going to see the Stug 4 there. I think managed to get line of sight briefly onto the Sherman 5, so lost that. But this Sherman still able to pin down these Fusilier squads. And I've still got some pretty healthy Commando of Royal Marines, but Nebelwerfer coming in again. That one's actually going to kill off my Willys MMG and my recon squad that I had there. Another Nebelwerfer coming in. That's going to smash those Royal Marines that were left over.
He's down.
Fortunately, though, managing to keep quite a lot of them alive. There's quite a lot of fire support here as well. Sherman 2, Sherman 5. Got the Bofors, going to be slamming that Pack 43 before it gets line of sight. Or gets it on target at least. So that's nice. Anything that's pushing through these tree lines is just getting wrecked, which is exactly what we like to see. And +2 now in our favour, thanks to Adorno pushing that gap. The 25 pounders here, still hitting their mark. One of them's going walkies. I do notice that later on. There goes one of my Commando Tank Busters. I think he retreated into flames and burnt himself to death. He managed to sneak up this Commando Tank Buster. Actually misses though, unfortunately. Only forces the Stug 4 to fall back as opposed to actually killing it. But 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. And all I'm really doing at this point is just trying to get as many kills as possible for the end of the game to make my KD look nice and shiny. So yeah, holding back the brunt of the 716th throughout the entire game on the right side really worked well in the end, and I managed to hold them just over 50% for the majority. And then in the mid here, the push back with the Raw Marines and the Sherman 5s was just so fun to watch. Like the fact that the opponents got so close to us and then we just pushed them all the way back. It was just insane. It was like Hell's Highway. Nuts. Either way, Hellcat's coming in here with their bombs, going to be going for the Flak 88 there. That was the two 15 HE power bombs followed by the 25 HE power bombs. I take out the IG-33 there as well. Yeah, everything just falling back, and the 25 pounders, they've all got their orders as they continue to fire away. Those Fusiliers trying to push me. Do manage to take out some Commander Royal Marines, but I've still got a full squad available there. Dingo's actually being required to use their Bren guns. Osttroopen, short work made of those with the Commando Tank Buster. And that Grenadier, you can see the Dingo is mowing them down with the help of the Royal Marines. But yeah, a nice game all round, I think. Really showed off the versatility, I think, of the first SSB. They do struggle in Phase B. You saw that I lost my momentum quite badly in Phase B. But that just goes down to the fact that they have the lowest income out of all divisions. But in Phase C it picks back up again, and, well, managing to just do so much work with these 25 pounders in the later phases, especially against in-place units like the 88s and so on. German 5 still very much alive in the middle as well. It's quite interesting how it managed to survive all the way to the end here, now taking on a 2-2-1 there. Well, Panzer IV surrendered. All the way up the top of the map there. But that's game. After the full 40 minutes, we win by score. Let's jump over to the team point of view, and you can see that I got 4,005 kills to 2,560 losses. Now again, considering how many kills that actually is, it doesn't seem that I did too much in that game. I mean, I managed to help push back against the opponents who got really far up, but in general, like, it didn't feel like I was pushing really hard. I was playing over 50% on my side of the map for the majority of the game, but yeah, I lost so much momentum in Phase B that it's really hard to pick up again in Phase C if you don't have the infantry remaining. And managing your infantry correctly in the first SSB is probably one of the most important things. I think I lost a lot of, like, units in the mid-game for free, which was really unfortunate. But yeah, kills either way. Sherman 2 at the start, taking out 3 IG-18s for us. Really nice. A Humber Mark III there. That was the one sitting behind the tree line, just slamming enemy infantry squads. We have a Centaur, the first one I brought in, took out 3 Pak 37s. So again, just like the Sherman 2, Centaur combo is just really strong against 716th. Commando 6, Commando supports. That Commando 6 squad was just doing so much work. Commando Fusilier Marines taking out a couple units. Commando Tank Busters took out the Stug 3. That was the sort of them sneaking through into that tree line. Got the Sherman 5 coming in. This was the reinforcing Sherman 5 that came in to help against like the counter push, and I took out multiple Panzer Grenadiers, a couple half tracks, and a Panzer IV there. This Commando Royal Marines was another one that was pushing back. Same with this Sherman. You can see all of the 12th SS Panzer kills here. Getting quite a lot of points from that pushback. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Commando 6 squads and Commando Tank Busters taking out varying 716th units. Sherman 5 on the right side, taking out Pak 40. Centaur took out a Flak 88 there. Quite a varied amount of units here. The 25 pounders didn't actually get too many kills, but definitely paid themselves off. Pak 43, Flak 41, £25 took out the IG-18, but also pinned down a lot of stuff throughout the game. Hellcat's come in, got the PaK-43 and the IG-33. And yeah, that's pretty much my kills. In terms of my losses, it's just a lot of my infantry. You see a lot of it's my commando units, which is really, really bad. I did lose quite a lot of Shermans and the Centaurs as well. But overall, really nice game. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.